and welcome our final storyteller to the stage, Moth, Redmond.
How you doing out there? Ron Ryan did a great job, right? Let's hear it for Ryan. So I have a son, he's 30 years old. His name is Aiden. He lives in Concord, New Hampshire. He's married to a wonderful woman named Audrey. 2 years ago, they told us, we have great news! We're having a baby! We're so thrilled! You can cheer! Yes! I'm going to be a grandfather. And it was going to be a boy. They're going to name him Oscar. 9-month pregnancy, went smooth as could be. And on Halloween Day, 2015, at 5 a.m., my iPhone went off, and I was awake, and I knew what it was. I picked up the phone and said, Oscar's coming, right? And he goes, yes, we're on our way to the hospital. I said, great, keep me posted. He called me at 11 a.m. and he said, well, they're going to have to do a cesarean. I said, okay, that's not good news, but not that uncommon. Keep me posted. 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I was like, where's the baby? So I texted my son, what's going on? He called me up. I was at Pet Food Warehouse. You know, sometimes in your life, you remember exactly where you were in certain moments, and his voice was shaking. And he said everything was fine. They brought us into the operating room. They had a heart monitor on the baby in utero. Everything was fine. They did the incision, and then all we can hear is no heartbeat, still no heartbeat, and all of these sounds and alarms. And doctors were rushing in, no heartbeat, no heartbeat. Finally, a doctor pointed to them and said, get those two out of here. And they wheeled my son and his wife down to a room. And every minute that went by, they were sure that that baby was gone. And finally, a nurse walked in and they braced themselves. And she said, we got the baby's heart going, but he lost a lot of oxygen. We're gonna have to helicopter him to Dartmouth Hitchcock, to the neonatal intensive care unit. So I'm on the phone and I'm like, holy shit. I'm driving to New Hampshire with my wife now. You just tell me what hospital I'm going to. So I drove down Route 89 like 100 miles an hour. And as we crossed the border, my wife texted Aiden, said, where are we going? And he said, go to Concord Hospital. We got all the way there. We walked in their room and Aiden said, you just missed him. They just put him in a little air box and they helicoptered him out of here. Will you drive me back to Dartmouth Hitchcock? His wife just had a cesarean. We drive like maniacs all the way to Dartmouth Hitchcock. You go into that NICU, most of those babies fit in your palm of your hand. Our baby is like 8 pounds. But he's laying there with electrodes taped to his head. He's got tubes everywhere. You can't even lift him. He's got to be on this cooling bed. So you see every picture with the mother and the father. There's none of that. He's got to stay in that cooling bed. So we stayed about an hour. Then Aiden said, will you drive me back to Concord Hospital so I can be with my wife? Just about to go, and she called us at the last second, said the insurance company had approved an ambulance to take her off. So she was there with us. But we were all so scared and frightened. I didn't know this. The lack of oxygen at birth is the major cause of cerebral palsy and other lifelong neurological conditions. And also, his liver wasn't functioning. There was a whole host of problems. We were so worried. Dartmouth Hitchcock, they were so good. At midnight, I said to my wife, let's find a hotel room. They were like, no, we have a family room. You can stay right here. The next day, Audrey's family showed up, so we went back. The next day, my son called me and said that a nurse said, we have a chaplain, a female chaplain. Would you like the chaplain to come in and see you? Now, they're not very religious, but they were so upset that we're like, yes, send her in. This woman came in. She didn't talk about God. She didn't talk about religion. She said, a turtle, when it's frightened, will withdraw into its shell. And all you see is that hard shell. But there's life inside that shell. And that's Oscar right now. He's in there. And when the turtle feels safe, it comes out of its shell. And when Oscar feels safe, he's going to come out of his shell. And you just have to believe that. You have to believe that. So here we are, 18 months later. Jimmy Kimmel did a video a few weeks ago where he talks about the birth of his baby. Raise your hand if you've seen that video. Jimmy Kimmel almost lost his baby at birth. And at one point he shows you a picture of his baby with all these tubes in and out of him. And I have a photo like that on my iPhone of Oscar. And then Jimmy Kimmel shows you a photo of his baby, happy, fine, healthy. Well, I got 50 photos like that on my iPhone. Oscar is great, he's fine, he's healthy, he's funny, he walks, he has a sense of humor, I adore my grandson, he's awesome! And Audrey has a tattoo on her left arm. Who wants to guess what her tattoo is of? Somebody. A turtle! Not hiding in a shell, fully displayed. She's got a great tattoo of a turtle. So celebration, when Oscar turned 1, we had a great celebration. But to me, every day is celebration day. Thank you.